I know a lot of you can't play Pokopia as much as you'd like to. Between work, school, and everything else that life is probably throwing at you, it can be possible to keep up. And considering the game is overwhelming with the sheer amount of things that you can do with not much guidance on what to do next, it can be easily overwhelming. So I put together this simple daily routine to help you figure out what to prioritize. Every day, set a goal for which story requests you're prioritizing. You can see these from the request menu on your phone. Without spoiling endgame mechanics, you're gonna get a lot of new features that will make things so much easier for you. So by choosing which story quest you're gonna be spending time on, you can make sure you're always progressing in the right direction. And remember, tank growth can always remind you of what to do next if you're stuck or unsure. And this ties with a specific building that you're gonna unlock in the first area. It's the one that gives you a set of challenges to complete, and it can be easily forgotten, especially when you start expanding to new areas. So a little hint is to keep working on crops for the building's second challenge, for example, and then every challenge will ask you for a bunch of materials. Just remember to do them. With these two out of the way, I usually run to the Pokemon Center and start some checklists there. First, I will get my daily stamp, and don't forget you can redeem your stamps. The game wants you to get 5 of them per week, and you're gonna get life coins in exchange for them. While I'm at the PC menu, I check challenges, and I turn on notifications for any new ones that might have been added. Every time you increase your environment level, which we're gonna get back to in a bit, you're gonna unlock new challenges. By pressing plus on your controller, you'll be notified anytime you have progressed one of the challenges, which is gonna come in handy so you know how far you've progressed. Then you can come back to the PC and redeem them for life coins. I also take a look at the environment level to try and navigate any Pokemon who might be homeless, because trust me, it's easy to sometimes destroy their habitats by mistake. And I also check if there are any Pokemon with the iffy status. I will take note of these Pokemon and get back to them in a little bit. Now that we have some money collected, I check the shop for new items of the day, and I make sure to pick up anything that I don't own yet. I also check the Pokemon Center for any new furniture items I can trade, but since the first event is here, we have limited items to buy. But you can also set up a registry, and any Pokemon who has the register ability can trade items with you. I haven't set mine yet, but that's something worth noting. I would also check if there is an event going on and see if I want to prioritize it for the day, along with whichever story request I'm focusing on. For example, this first event requires these cotton spores that we can get on Dream Islands, and my big objective is setting up the Pokemon Center in the new area that I'm working on. So I'm gonna take note of that and work on it in a little bit. Now that I'm done with shopping for the day, I check my habitat decks to see which habitats I want to work on. You can use the filter by pressing Y to check for habitats available in your area and ones where you haven't found all Pokemon spawns in. Once you set up a habitat, it can take a little bit of time for a Pokemon to spawn, so I make use of the security cameras since they can give me a notification when a new Pokemon has spawned. You can see the cameras that you have set up and their number on your map by opening up your phone. Now it's time to do some daily check-ins with the Pokemon. They probably have been flooding you with alerts and they're like, hi, talk to me, hi. So you can check all the ones with bubbles above their head. They might want to play a game with you, share a gift, or even have a time request for you to complete. After that, I'll take photos of any special moments happening. The game will notify you when a specific event is happening with the Pokemon, so you can take a picture of it, and it's gonna go straight to your highlight reel collection on your phone. And the neat thing is that these photos will appear on the game's main menu when you first launch it. Remember when I said I take note of Pokemon with the iffy status? Well, while I'm doing my rounds with Pokemon, I will also talk to the ones with the iffy status and ask them how I can improve their comfort level. If none of them are at the iffy status, which is actually really good, you can start working on ones with the nice or great effect, so you can bring their level up to great or awesome respectively. If you can't find a Pokemon, you can use honey to lure them to you. So just hold honey, go to their habitat and press A, and they're gonna come rushing to you. I also take a look around to check any litter left by Pokemon. You see, Pokemon with the litter ability, like Combee and Bellsprout for example, will leave honey and vines respectively. So these Pokemon's habitats will usually have some materials for you, which you can then use for crafting, trading, gifting, and more. And speaking of honey, you can trade up to 9 honey per day for 3 furniture items from Vespiquen. I've also set up this community box where I can place materials I want to get processed by Pokemon. So instead of having to track down every Pokemon to process things for me, I just leave the materials here. For example, instead of chasing down Scyther to process my logs into lumber, I could just leave the logs here and he'll get to working on them. I'll also do daily resource gathering. This is how I make sure I always have enough stone, sticks, berries, and other ingredients that I know I need for a variety of crafting recipes. While I'm at it, I also look for any golden spotlights inside rocks, as these seem to spawn daily with different artifacts in them. It's also good to check around water surfaces for these sparkles or golden sparkles that give you some resources. In fact, some days are considered your lucky day, where more of these appear. If this majestic Pokemon passes by, it means they dropped a feather, so don't forget to track it down. At this point, you're gonna notice that you have a lot of items on you. And even with Gulpin, if he's following you around, which I highly recommend, and you're making use of his storage ability, it's a really good idea to start keeping track of all materials. So for me, I actually did this little storage area with the crafting bench, and I have frames that I have set up. The 4 chests that you see touching the bench means that I can craft and pull items directly from these chests, so there's no need for me to keep everything in my pocket. The ones that are not touching the chests are for other materials. So I have a box for simple materials, one for furniture, one for blocks, one for CDs and other precious items, one for flowers, bushes and trees, etc. All of this is still a work in progress for me, but one thing to remember is that you can hold X to auto-sort all items, including the ones that you have in your pocket. I just wish we had an auto-stack feature. That would be golden. And while you're at it, if you have your dowsing machine left in your storage, make sure to get it. Also, ask Gulpin to start following you if you have him unlocked, and find a Pokemon with the search ability so that they can follow you too. Now that my pockets are empty, it's time to visit a dream island. And this fits the first event where this Pokemon needs cotton spores, which trigger in these dream islands. A quick tip I recently learned is that you don't need to pick up the doll and take it to Drifloon. You can simply put the doll down, click on it, and you're gonna summon Drifloon and you'll be ready to leave the island. And off we go to a dream island. I will look for any Stardust, since 99 of them allows me to craft a star piece. If you want to learn more about like tips and tricks of different things to collect, I highly recommend checking out my video that I did with over 50 tips that will help you in the game. And in that video, I explain more about these star pieces. You'll also see that I'm activating my loot goblin mode right now, and I'm looting everything, including specific event-related materials. I'll also find more recipes, artifacts, and CDs here, and this is why using the dowsing machine is a great idea, because you can use it here and start looking for collectibles. Note you can also do that on your island if you have extra time. I'll also take pictures of any items that I feel like, you know what, maybe I want to duplicate them when I'm back home. Once I'm done, I come back to my island, redeem items for the event, and I can use the 3D printer if I saw any item that I really liked. As you can see here, I'm running low on Pokemetal because I used all of them to make my storage area. Then I'll start working on a small area of my island. Mine right now is a total mess, but I usually love working with, symmetry and having various themes on one island rather than one big coherent overall theme. So let me know what are some themes that you're working on. For me right now, my priority is to finish the story first, then I can start working on decorating. And if you are working on any areas, this is the right time for you to check which buildings you want to work on, as some can take up to a day in real life. You can fast travel if you want to, but if you don't want that and you want to play the game every day, then this is a good idea to do. Now, with this guide in mind, I want to point out 2 things, but first, hello you gorgeous human being, it's Miss Bubbles. If this guide has been helpful, consider squishing the like and subscribe buttons so you can stay up to date as I share more guides about the game just like this one. So the first thing I want to mention, which I talked about in the 50 tips and tricks video, I would say play at your own pace. This is such an important tip for a daily routine. I know a lot of us are scrolling through social media and we're seeing insanely creative players building the Roman Empire. That can make you feel like you're behind and you're overwhelmed. So if you're already feeling like this, just take a step back and remember that the game is not going anywhere. It's not a race. Whether you like to burn through content quickly or you like to take it slow, this is your island, your game, so play in whichever way feels right for you. The second thing is about time travel. There are no penalties for this at the time of this recording. Many of you told me that you can either play before or after work, and since the game syncs with real life time, that means you might never see the island during the daytime or the nighttime. Plus, considering some Pokemon only appear in certain habitats at specific times of day, this can be a little bit iffy. So if your schedule is not that flexible, changing the time can help you experience everything the game has to offer without it feeling limited or frustrating. Here are over 50 tips that I put together for you to help you play more efficiently. And thank you to my YouTube and Patreon bubblies who make videos like this possible. And a shout out goes to the Game Dimension, Stella, Jake Logan, Grey Wolf, Emmy, Blessing, Charming Kara, and Fufei for going the extra mile. Until next time, stay bubbly.